I'm going to give you 21 of the easiest methods that you can use to generate thousands of qualified leads for your social media marketing agency fast. I personally use these methods to take my own agency from $0 to $1 million a year over the course of 3 years. That's nearly enough to buy 300,000 Starbucks lattes per year. And so I'm going to walk you through step by step how to use these methods so you can generate more leads than, quite frankly, you know what to do with. Let's get started. So what we can see here is we've got 21 methods. We've got some softwares, we've got some Chrome extensions, we've got some social methods as well. A couple of them you won't have seen before, some of them you might be familiar with, but I want this to just be the sort of be all and end all of all the places you could possibly go to get qualified leads, and then you can use your knowledge of your niche to, drill down and find the one that works best for you. Because when you find a good source of leads, like, everything gets a lot easier for you, okay? You have to ask yourself, when it comes to client acquisition, a client is an output of an acquisition system, okay? And often the quality of a system is entirely bottlenecked and restrained by the quality of the inputs. And so it's really important that you nail the lead sourcing and that you're able to find a good quality source, because the lead source that you basically build for your agency is kind of like the water that you drink from every day. Like, that's kind of how it works. If let's say you're a diver and you've got an oxygen tank and you're going underwater, you have to look at your lead source and that pool of leads the same way that a diver would look at his oxygen tank. That is where you're drawing life from, okay? So it's imperative that you get this right. So let's have a look at what might be best for you. So first of all, we've got the Better Business Bureau. This is a really cool lead sourcing method that not many people know to use. You can look in the US, Canada, and Mexico, and it's kind of like Yell or Yelp, but a little bit better. Then we've got Apollo, which is one of the most popular lead sourcing methods or most popular lead sourcing softwares at the moment. Really cool. You can book a demo with them. It's a little bit expensive, but some of these are free, some of these are paid. The paid ones do tend to have the better leads, but if you've got a barrier to entry, that's fine. Now we have the tried and proven, the old classic D7 Lead Finder. This was my best friend when I was growing my agency, 7 years ago when I was starting. Got me to 10 grand a month, so you can check that out. Then we have a few more underground ones. Lead Carrot is a pretty interesting way to source leads. It's just another way, similar to D7, but a little bit less known, so some of the leads are actually better. The one problem you'll find with D7 Lead Finder is a lot of it's very out of date, so you have to filter through a lot of bad data, but you can get so much that usually you can clean it up. Then we have Lead Scrape, which is another sort of similar thing to Lead Carrot, to D7 Lead Finder, but it can be a little bit more comprehensive in more service-based niches, which is pretty cool. Okay. Then we have this one called Google Maps Extractor. This is something that not many people know exists. It is a download. The truth is I've never really had the balls to download it, but some of my clients have used it and they've said it's really useful. If you're working with brick and mortar businesses who are on Google My Business, and obviously they're on Google Maps and stuff like gyms, spas, chiropractors, dentists, etc., you can download this tool and it will extract a ton of businesses and then put it into a nice little neat thing for you with all their address and phone and email. So this is a kind of cool one. For legal purposes, I'm not advocating you press a green download button that was clearly made in paint in 2005, but it's entirely up to you. All right, I think it's pretty trustworthy, but don't come crying to me if you get a Trojan horse virus, which is very unlikely, by the way. Anyway, Book Your Data, another solid one that not many people know about. This is actually more of you get them to build a list and you buy it from them, if that makes sense. I did use this once. Some of the leads were really good, some of them weren't so good. That was in the gym niche. So, maybe you want to experiment with this and, see what other options you have available to you. Now, there's a couple of the ones that are also pretty good. They're not as good or popular as the ones that I've just explained, but you've got Info USA, and it's going to just probably do some weird verification thing here. So this is another way for you to buy lists, essentially, okay? Then you've got US Biz Data, and then you've got Lead Kahuna. Here's the thing, right? There's an important lesson in business strategy specific to SMMA when it comes to lead sourcing. When you get your agency and you're starting from scratch, you're not thinking long term. You're probably thinking about the next month, the next couple of months, maybe the quarter at a push, but you're probably thinking in 1 hour or 24 hour, or if you're lucky, 1 week time horizons. But let me tell you something. When you start an agency, if you really want to build an enterprise and you really want to get to 100 grand a month, for example, you need to start thinking long term about the second order consequences of this lead sourcing in terms of how you're going to advertise. Okay, so when you want to start really scaling, you can use cold email and cold calling and cold DMing, and you can use these lead sourcing methods to get to multi-six figures. But as soon as you hit that 30, 40 grand a month mark and you want to sort of double, triple the business in a couple of months, which is entirely possible with this sort of model, you need to run ads, okay? So what I need you to understand is here, you are sourcing leads, like emails, for example. Emails are kind of the main one. You're sourcing emails so that you can get clients through cold email. But more importantly, you're building a list, a comprehensive, qualified, valid list of businesses that can buy from you. And then when you've used that list outbound and you've sort of grown your agency to multi-six figures, then you use that list to advertise to. Because you go to Facebook, you create a custom audience and you upload all of those emails into Facebook. And then Facebook takes that big list and it will match all of the emails with the social profiles associated with them across their entire platform. Then it will also use lookalike audiences to build other people. You have to bear this in mind. This is how we got our first agency, NorthFlow Consulting, to like 120 grand a month at our peak. Well, I think we had like 64 done for you clients at once. It wasn't as fun as it sounds, trust me, but it was a good money. The reason we were able to do that is we scaled so quickly because we already had like a huge list of qualified emails. And so we just went to Facebook and we were like, hey, here are the people, and then the algorithm was like, okay, we'll run ads to this list, and we had like 50,000 gyms, right? So it's really important, you're building this list so you can get clients in the short term, but we also have this long-term play available to us where we can actually, go ahead and start running ads down the line. So big brain play, think about it. I know I've got a big forehead to store this big brain, but I hope you like it. Right, so niche specific. So then we've got a couple of, there's gonna be niche specific lead sourcing methods for near enough every niche. There's loads of different nuances and nooks and crannies you can go to find. I don't think anyone's ever really used the word nooks and crannies on a YouTube video. I apologize for that. But there's all sorts of places you can go to find good leads, okay, in your niche. These are just a couple of examples. Obviously, the obvious one is store leads if you're in e-com. This is basically the biggest database of all e-commerce stores in the world. It's pretty cool, kind of like it. Then you've got, if you're in real estate, it makes sense to use Zillow, because Zillow you can actually you can search directly for realtors and the companies they work for and stuff. And then this is a cool one if you're in the gym space and you want to work with CrossFit gyms. I used this a lot when I was building my first agency in the gym space. A lot of these franchises and gyms, these big gyms like Anytime Fitness, 9 Round, I Love Kickboxing, all of these big gyms, CrossFit, etc., Snap Fitness, whatever, right? Some of them have maps of businesses you can find. And if you're in the restaurant niche and you've got a franchise you want to work with, sometimes you can find a map and it kind of is pretty cool. But it looks like this. And it basically shows you every CrossFit gym ever. So if you're in the CrossFit space, that might be of use to you, okay? Now, then we have Chrome extensions for manual sourcing. So here's the thing. The leads that you're going to get from softwares typically aren't going to be as good as the ones that you source yourselves, okay? So what you can do is you can use Snow.io, you can use Hunter, you can use Adapt Prospector if you're on LinkedIn, you can use Easy Leads, and this is actually for LinkedIn as well, or you can use Google Lead Sourcer, right? So these are the main softwares that you can use. Basically, if you go onto someone's website, or if you go onto someone's social profile, if you've got Snov or Hunter installed, what it will do is it will actually find all of the emails associated with that website's domain, or it will find the email account associated with the social account that you're on. So if you're on a prospect's Facebook, I don't think it really works too much for Facebook, but I've seen it before on Instagram and LinkedIn and stuff like that. So you can find people's emails from their social profiles and reach out to them, if that makes sense. These are pretty cool tools, just making you aware that they're there. I would make a tutorial on how to use them, but there's literally hundreds already on YouTube, and you've got fingers and a brain. You can just search them up and watch them. Okay, I'm just here to make you aware of these ones. Okay, so then Google Lead Sourcer is a really underrated tool. A lot of people don't know this one exists. Everyone uses Hunter, Snov. What you generally want to do is you want to get, if you're going to do scraping manually, where you're going to a website, you're picking up the emails, putting them in a spreadsheet, what you want to do is you want to have all 3 of the main lead sourcing or lead scraping tools available to you installed, and they're all free. So you've got Snov.io, you've got Hunter, and Google Lead Sourcer. Okay, if you just have one, sometimes Hunter will pick up one email and Snov won't, and then sometimes Snov will pick up one that Hunter won't, and then sometimes Google Lead Sourcer will go stupid, go crazy and pick up 5, and then the other ones won't. So it's a nice little balance to have. Okay, so I've gone to the very swift liberty of building a lead sheet for you. This is basically what you want your lead sourcing sheet to look like. You really don't want to overcomplicate it with too much information. It should just be business, full name, email, phone, niche, socials, and website, and then maybe some notes if you think it's necessary. If you're doing manual sourcing, that is, using the methods that I just explained or just sort of made you aware of, you can come in here and do this. Then there's a couple of the methods I want to share with you. Once again, this video is just serving the purpose of bringing your awareness to these ideas. It's not actually going to, I'm not here to explain because I've already done that with certain places. So the best way to do Instagram lead sourcing. So let's say you want to do cold DMs on Instagram. I made a video on that, so you can go and watch that. If you want to do it on LinkedIn or Facebook, and you want to get Facebook profiles or LinkedIn profiles in your niche in bulk so you can do cold DMing to them, adding them as friends, connecting with them, etc., then there is a video here on exactly how to do that. And if you want to source leads specifically for Facebook, right, so you're how do I get people on Facebook to reach out to. Then I've created this Google Doc for you called Finding Friends, which I thought was awfully sentimental. I need to do a lot of that, but there we go. Anyway, but you can use that to find friends. You get the point, right? So then we have something called the email verification system. So if you are scraping big lists, or if you're getting someone to build a list for you, or if you're using social tools, if you're using tools on Chrome extensions like social tools to get these leads in, you need to verify your emails, okay? And the other thing is you're also going to want to have a removing duplicates tool. So when you're managing your sheet, what I said at the beginning of the video still rings true here, because the input of your entire enterprise is your lead source. It's where all of your clients and customers and money is going to come from, okay? So it's really important that you hit the nail on the head with this lead sourcing thing, and that you have a predictable way of introducing a steady new influx of qualified people into your business, into your systems for client acquisition and sales processes, because it's kind of like a river, right? Imagine it like this. You've got a river leading from the sea, right? The sea is gonna obviously, this is the ocean, and then we have the river sort of leading away from the sea. The quality of the water in the river is determined by the quality of the water in the sea, okay? And so if you've got upstream problems with your business of sales, of appointment booking, of client delivery, all of those problems can be traced back to the source, right? So if the river's dirty a mile down the line, it's probably because of a problem with the initial conditions or the water that was flowing into it at the very beginning, all right? And that's how your business works. It's the same premise, so get this right. So with email verification, this is the best software that I found to verify emails and basically make sure that when we email to someone, we actually get through to the inbox, right? Because here's the thing, Never Bounce is basically a tool that verifies that the email actually exists. Because when you're using something like D7 Lead Finder or Store Leads, or when you're scraping, from Google Chrome, what can happen is you can scrape an email that doesn't exist anymore. Because these databases, they're not updated that frequently and that regularly, because there's no incentive for them to really do that. And so it's up to you to get the list, and then send that list to a third-party software to verify that that email actually has MX records associated with it, is actually going to be received, and isn't going to bounce. Because when you're doing cold email, more specifically cold email, not cold DMs, when you're doing cold email, if you have one cold email account or even multiple cold email accounts, every time you send an email that bounces, it tells your internet service provider that you're doing something wrong. Because generally speaking, most human beings, if they're going to email someone, the email's always going to be delivered. They're not emailing people that don't exist anymore. And so what you want to do is use Never Bounce. It's not cheap by any stretch of the imagination, but honestly, for the sake of protecting your email deliverability and having that, predictability of deliverability to a degree, I would suggest using this. So you can try it for free. This is what we used to use when we were doing our cold email campaigns. Without this, what's going to happen is you're going to completely destroy your cold email accounts. Because if you had a D7 Lead Finder and you reach out to everyone on that list, I guarantee at least 10, 20, 30% of those leads are just going to be non-existent anymore. And that tells Google or Hotmail or Outlook or all these internet service providers that you are sending cold emails and you want to fly under the radar. Now, the other tool that you're going to want to use is something called Remove Duplicates, okay? So this is a really cool Google Drive extension that you can have, or Google Chrome extension that is specific for Google Sheets. I'm pretty sure you have to pay for it, but it's £2 or something. It's really worth having. So when you're building your list, what's going to happen if you're sourcing from multiple sources, or even if you're using the same source, sometimes you're going to have duplicates, right? And it's the same premise with this optimizing for deliverability when it comes to actually getting into someone's inbox. Because if I reach out to you now, and then 3 days later you come back up on my list, but obviously I don't remember you because I'm doing such volume, and I reach out to you again, then it's weird. You're sending the same email to someone twice. They're going to be like, shit, this is spam. They're going to mark you as spam, and that's not a good thing. So what you want to do is have this remove duplicates tool. I use this all the time when I was building my lead list for my first and second business, and you can find that linked here. So it is worth buying. It's a couple of pounds, and there's an instruction on how to use it. So it's just amazing because you can have 40,000 leads, right? And depending on the quality of the source, you could get 40,000 leads, and then you use this remove duplicates tool, and then it will remove 6,000 people that you would have reached out to twice, if that makes sense. You just removes the duplicate. So really cool tool, and that's it. So that's everything for the lead sourcing methods. I hope this was useful. If you need help getting more clients, there is a link in the description you can click. It's a video of me explaining how I can help you get more clients. It literally is a sales video. It's a VSL. So if you're not prepared to be sold to and you're not in the mood for a good old sales conversation, then by all means don't click the link. Truth be told, I don't really care too much if you click it or not. But if you do and you might find it useful, but maybe you don't like me, it's fine. It's totally fine. I'm just going to go to this SOP and start looking on how to find Facebook friends. Anyway, check it out if you want to. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.